views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Welcome to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. Each week, you'll learn how to navigate the global shift of consciousness and explore the deeper knowledge within. Welcome home. Now here's your host, Dr. Kelly Neff.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Kelly Neff, and you are listening to Lucid Planet Radio here on Transformation Talk Radio, Stockholm Radio Networks, CRN Digital Talk, and more. Please stay with us for the next hour and let us help you experience some super heady, good vibes, inspiration, creativity, knowledge, science. Every week, we have some of the most gifted scientists, healers, speakers, and authors helping you to become the greatest version of yourself. And that's really what it's all about. You can find out more just by visiting thelucidplanet.com. You can stream all of our podcasts for free on all of the major hubs, lucid-planet-radio.com, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud, etc. And you can connect with me on Facebook and Twitter at The Lucid Planet with Dr. Kelly, and follow me on Instagram /LucidPlanet. I also just want to remind you guys that if you visit thelucidplanet.com, you can find out how to nominate yourself or someone else for the show and become a sponsor or advertising partner. We do reach an extensive audience across over 250 AM, FM, digital, and cable stations in over 11 million homes in the U.S. and 90 countries. Wow. So welcome to all of our international listeners today as well. Now, we are really focusing today on science, learning, and understanding kind of who we are and where we come from. And in order to do that, we're going to talk about the existence of the waves behind the evolution of the universe in the quantum field. I know that sounds really complex, and it is. So I'm delighted to welcome scientist and philosopher Johan Calleman back to the show, who's going to share with us basically the gist of his brand new book, The 9 Waves of Creation, which essentially presents a speculative cosmology supported by the recent discovery that galaxies in the universe are not located randomly, but they are ordered in a way that radically challenges our previous assumptions about cosmology and the universe. So if these ideas are even partially true, it really does reframe the whole nature of evolution and of kind of our consciousness. So in case you were wondering, Johan Calleman, he's a scientist and philosopher, and he has spent the last 30 years understanding the evolution of life and consciousness based on the Mayan calendar. And he was born in Stockholm, Sweden. He has a Ph.D. in physical biology, and he spent many years, like 20 years, doing laboratory research, cancer research, and then ended up leaving his career in the hard sciences to start studying and lecturing one of the greatest mysteries of our time, which is the Mayan calendar. And he has 6 books on the topic. And the most recent one, which we talked about last time he was on the show, is The Global Mind and the Rise of Civilization. And the new book that we're going to be talking about is The 9 Ways of Creation, Quantum Physics, Holographic Evolution, and the Destiny of Humanity. So on that note, let's welcome Johan Calleman to the show. Hi, Carl. How's it going?
Hello, Kelly. It's going very well.
And what I like to hear.
Yes, what else? No, but I remember the last show we had, and I really enjoyed it, and so I'm looking forward to this one too.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's great to have you back. You've been super prolific in your writing and your research. What's your secret?
Well, it's 2 books came out last year, and on inner traditions, and then more recently I've been writing quite a few articles that are related to this topic, but maybe a little bit more focused on exactly what is happening in the world today. And I think it's I was very active in my writing and so forth in the years, should I say, like 2004 to 2011, and then I went into hibernation almost for a couple of years because a new situation emerged after the big shift in 2011. And there were new aspects of this that I really felt that I had to assimilate and think about before I went out and came out with a new message based on the same Mayan calendar. And but especially now, and I mean, starting last year, and especially at this point in time, the world is changing. It's a dramatic energy change that has happened in the planet, and I think my particular message is really very much needed at the current point in time, and that has stimulated me and to again become prolific and active and a little bit visible in the world.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about this energy shift. It does seem that the world's very chaotic. You've had some great articles out about kind of this almost like fall of Babylon that we're seeing, or like fall of the West. And, how can you help explain this energy shift using the 9 waves and using your theories?
Well, it's really, it comes down to the prophetic nature of the Mayan calendar, which, for one thing, one of these waves, the 6th wave, which is really the wave of civilizations, that is a wave that it's quite indisputable that the rise and fall of civilizations are correlated with the peaks and valleys, as you might say, with this particular sine wave that constituted the Mayan long count. Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, it becomes very important. We have gone through a shift in that particular wave, which happened in late in 2011, and that changes the big picture of our social economical reality in a way that I think deserves to be talked about and understood.
Absolutely. I agree. I guess for those people who are new to the concept, how would you explain or describe the 9 waves of creation?
Well, these are waves with very low frequencies compared to the waves that are being studied, for instance, in visible light or radio waves or ultraviolet lights or infrared light. These waves are in another range of the frequency spectrum.
So this is like in the quantum field type thing.
Yeah, it is. So these are waves that are underlying all creation. And as is the case with all these waves in the quantum field, we don't perceive them. We don't see them directly as waves. We see the effects of them. Which is also true for visible light. We don't see a wave coming to our eyes. We see yellow or blue or whatever.
Yeah.
It's being transformed into an experience in our own minds. And it's same with this. These waves, we don't see them as waves, but we see the results of them on our minds and on the kind of societies that we are creating. And I think it's very important here to add that the ancient peoples of our planet, they experienced these waves. I don't think they saw the waves either, but they did experience the wave-like change that their own societies would go through. And so that's why, for instance, the ancient Maya and actually all the people of Mexico in ancient times, they would talk about the supreme deity, the supreme creator deity, as the plumed serpent. And I remember when I first came to Chichen Itza in Mexico, and realized that whole city had been built for the devotion of a deity that they called the plumed serpent. I thought that was very, even bizarre. Why would they have a snake as the highest god? And it's not only in Chichen Itza. You find the same thing in Teotihuacan and many other places in ancient Mexico. But it's only maybe clearly in the past 5 years or so that is really I really come to understand what it's all about, because the plumed serpent is a wave, and they used to talk about this plumed serpent as the creator not only of life but also the creator of civilization. And so when this serpent, as they called it, as this waveforms would be coming, then their civilizations would flourish. But then they would also know that when there were times when the plumed serpent would disappear, or as they would say mythologically, it would molt its skin. And then there would be dark ages, and their civilizations would more or less disappear, not fully maybe, but certainly not go back to the kind of height of development that had been in previous times. And this all makes sense if you realize that they were aware of a wave-like change in how their societies developed. And
it's very interesting.
And
Carl, can I just jump in? We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
It's so interesting to think about how all of these symbols are not literal, right?
Yeah,
when it comes to ancient cultures. And that actually is a really fascinating concept. So when we come back, I'm sorry to cut you off. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the Mayan calendar and the significance of the symbols of the serpent and the mythology of ancient peoples, and also the relationship between the Mayan calendar and quantum physics. So stay with us, and we will be right back. Sound good?
You, yes you, can be the highest version of yourself. Wellness coach and natural beauty expert Dr. Agnes Frenkel is on a mission to help you play the game of your life. Win in vibrancy, health, and beauty. Because you deserve it. Dr. Agnes goes beyond the limits in her personal coaching sessions to revolutionize health and wellness. Now is the time to unleash your true power. For more information, visit dragnesfrenkel.com.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in to Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
When your body is awakened, your spirit comes alive. Dana Canetto is a transformational guide, embodiment coach, and spiritual mentor assisting women in realigning with their truth and embodying who they are by connecting to the wisdom of their body. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio and the Dr. Pat Show Network for Body Divinity Radio with Dana Canetto. For more information on Dana and her services, visit DanaCanetto.com. That's DanaCanneto.com.
Tune in to Dynamics of Diversity Radio, scripting the new narrative for immigration with leading experts Kripa Upadhyaya and Steve Tanijo on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This show will remove the noise that often accompanies discussions on this topic and share a new perspective on the dynamics of immigration and diversity, ever reminding us that together we are all at the core of innovation, excellence, and positive change. Visit orbitlawpllc.com for upcoming topics.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving, even in the face of adversity. Say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
We are back on Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly, and my guest today is Carl Johan Calleman, who has been sharing with us his theories about the 9 ways of creation and Mayan calendar and quantum physics, and we're going to get more into it. But before we continue, Carl, let's just make sure that everybody knows how to find out more about your articles, your books, all of your work. How can they contact you?
Well, the best way is probably my website, which is calleman.com, CALLEMAN.com. Then, of course, I'm on Facebook, and there is a special website or a page site based on this book, The 9 Ways of Creation, and which people can find, or they can find my last name there. Our articles are posted mostly on my website, and that's also where people can find the address to get in touch with me if they should want to.
Awesome. Well, perfect. When we left off, we were talking about the serpent amongst ancient peoples as possibly a symbol for some kind of a waveform of an energy that they were trying to articulate and display, and that they understood how this energy was affecting that. Is the serpent also, does it play a very special role in the Mayan calendar too?
It does so in the sense that the plumed serpent was regarded as the bringer of the calendar. So in that very significant role, you see a connection between the calendar and the plumed serpent. Because the calendar was seen as part of civilization, and the plumed serpent brought civilization. In addition, there are the day sign of the serpent. And it also played a big role. If you look at the old reliefs in the ancient Mayan temple sites, there were people communicating with what they called the vision serpent. So what that is telling us is that this plumed serpent, these creation waves in the quantum field, was really something that gave people visions. And they perceived it as divine, as from the center of the universe. So it really was involved in the Mayan mythology in many different ways.
Absolutely.
And I think I'd like to add here that it's not unique to the Maya, because for instance, the world's oldest piece of art, which is found in Botswana in southern Africa, and is 70,000 years old, is a huge python. It's a serpent. So it means that somehow the very oldest cultured people that we know of actually honored the serpent. And we also know that, for instance, the Aborigines in Australia, which is a very old tradition as well, to them, the great creator god was something they called the rainbow serpent. So it comes back. And the serpent was a symbol of power and magic and so forth in all over the world in different forms. And I think it all goes back to this, that I'm sorry, that the fact that there are creation waves behind our existence, and that the serpent is a good symbol for those waves.
So speaking of these waves, which is really fascinating, are they all in existence at once, or are we constantly going through patterns of different waves? And the third part of the question is, and what do the waves signify?
Well, at the current time, they're all running in parallel. And this is something, as of 2011, this is a new situation for humanity. It's never been the case before. Rather, they have been sequentially activated, so that the first wave, which has been running for 16 billion years about, it was activated at the time of the birth of the universe. And then on top of that, only 800 million years ago, another second wave was activated. And then on top of that, another one was activated 40 million years ago, etc., etc. And the last of these 9 waves that was activated was the 9th wave, and that was activated in March of 2011. And now this is a new situation that was even foreseen by the ancient Maya, that for the first time, they're all running in parallel. They're all accessible, and they're creating interference patterns in a way that hasn't been the case before. But now they're all running in parallel and continue, as far as I can see, they will do that forever.
And is this something is it possible to measure these waves using like quantum measurement techniques, or is this something more that's like a feeling based, or is this more just a theory right now?
Well, I would say that it's a theory that is supported by a lot of empirical evidence. They can't be measured because the wavelengths are so. The shortest of the wavelength here is something like 0.1 light years. In other words, it covers the entire solar system. And in order to be able to directly measure one of these waves, you would then need an antenna the size of the solar system. And you can't do that. But they're outside of, not only outside of what the range that we would like visible range or so, they're also outside of the range that it's technically possible to measure. But that doesn't mean there is not evidence for them, because you see how history and biological evolution and the evolution of the universe at large, in significant regards, conforms to the waveforms of these waves. So there's a lot of evidence for them, but they can't be measured. And which is maybe not so surprising, really, because they really influence our minds, and it's not really directly measurable.
So, which obviously is very understandable. I wanted to bring up, before I forget, the new data that's pointing to our understanding of the birth of the universe shifting, because you said the first wave is from when the universe was born. What is this new research about, kind of the non-random patterns of galaxies?
Yeah, this is very something very, very significant that has come out only of the last 10 years of astrophysical or cosmological research. And it's not something that has yet really come out to the public at large. It still is fairly much in the province of science. It's something that really has a great influence on how we look upon our own existence, because we can't really understand why we're here if we don't understand our origin.
Yes.
To put it a little bit briefly, then, there used to be a time from about 70 years ago when the Big Bang theory was first proposed and accepted, essentially, when the idea was that the universe started with a big explosion, a Big Bang, as it was called. And what's problematic with that is that the world around us doesn't look like the debris from a big explosion. That kind of thought, there's something missing there. It cannot just have started with a big explosion. Something must have given structure to reality as we know it. And it's in that regard that things have really changed in the perception of this Big Bang. Not that it wasn't a big energy burst starting the universe, but what's come out of the past 10 years of research is that this was a very structured event, a stage-setting event for the continued evolution of the universe. And most importantly is the finding made in 2004 that there is a central cosmic axis in the universe. And what I'm saying in this book, I report on the most recent findings about this cosmic axis. But what I'm also saying then is that modern science then has caught up with one of the most important ancient myths of the peoples of the earth, and that is the idea that the universe is organized around a tree of life, which is an idea that you find all over the world.
Oh yes, and from Kabbalah. Right, different religious traditions. Yes. Am I right about that? We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about the Tree of Life, as well as other symbology, like the significance of the number 9. So stick with us. Carl Johan Calleman will be back, dropping knowledge bombs in your head in a couple minutes.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Hi, this is Carol Dorian, here to tell you about the new and improved Spiritual Diagnostics, coming to you every Tuesday at 2 p.m. starting April 25th. We will be having new amazing guests. We will have new spiritual topics for the new year. So look out for our new revamped show, Spiritual Diagnostics, Psychic Answers and Spiritual Solutions, April 25th at 2 o'clock.
Brand consultant Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help you take control of your future and maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're an individual trying to reinvent yourself and launch a new venture, or you're an executive trying to reposition your company to modernize your sales and marketing programs, Jen Morgan and the RAD method empower you to play to your strengths and show up in the world as your most powerful brand. To learn more, go to jenmorgan.com. That's Jen with 2 N's Morgan.com, or call 206-972-5366.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving. Even in the face of adversity, say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
We're back on Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly, and if you are just joining us, I'm here with scientist Johan Calleman talking with us about his new book, The 9 Ways of Creation. And when we just left off before the break, we were talking about the idea that there seems to be this new understanding of the birth of the universe. And Carl, you were basically saying before we left off that there's a structure to the universe that is almost reflective of the tree of life.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite clear that now that there is a central cosmic axis through the universe. And what is even more amazing, I think, and this is even more recent, you might say, it's studies that have been published in 2015 and 2016, is the fact that this axis seems to be dividing the universe into 2 hemispheres, which have quite different properties, or at least that certain of the very most distant and large astronomical objects, like the quasars, are not evenly distributed through the universe. They are divided by this line in such a way that it creates like a yin-yang polarity, a light-dark polarity of the universe. And maybe every couple of months, some new study comes up and shows how the universe, the objects of the universe are different on one side of the axis compared to the other side of the axis. They find that there is a propensity of clockwise galaxy on one side and counterclockwise galaxies on the other side, and a couple of other things like that.
Wow.
And this is, it's not at all what we have been taught, and it's not what, even if we go out and look at the night sky, we don't see any of this, because it's really the things that are going on in the deep sky, in the objects that are the most remote. But nonetheless, it gives, again, if you think about the tree of life, and the not ancient but medieval paintings of the tree of life with Adam and Eve in the Bible, those paintings would always put Adam and Eve on 2 different sides of the tree of life. And this is because the tree of life then sort of creates an energy separation between male and female. And what is now coming out here is really that it seems that this cosmic axis that has now been discovered, it creates like an energy separation on the cosmic scale, on the very largest scale of the universe. And so there's a lot of new, very interesting findings coming out. And it's the old idea that the universe started just with some random explosion without any direction is an idea that is going out simply. It's becoming more clear that there was an original geometric structure in the universe based upon the cosmic axis, and that is the beginning of creation, or the beginning of structure that later have evolved into our own current time and the world it looks like now.
And I guess it makes sense when you think about all of those geometric structures and patterns in our bodies, in nature, that there is some kind of pattern to everything in the chaos, that it's not just random.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess my question then for you is, what is your opinion, your personal opinion? Is this some kind of intelligent design, or is it just the pattern is the meaning?
Yeah, I first of all, I have no evidence in either direction of those two. I tend to relate to the cosmos as one intelligent being myself, but I'm not claiming that that's the right way of looking at it. It's just, when you come to this all these ultimate questions, it's we have to feel our ways. And the question, as I understand it, is there anything behind? It's obviously intelligent design, yes, but is there a designer?
Right.
I relate to it as if there is a designer, but I'm not saying that that's true.
Well, fair enough, because, there's no way of really knowing for sure. And that's why part of the human experience is like we get to ask these questions and not know.
Yes.
Right. But there's
exactly.
So it's cool. But there's still a lot of interesting stuff that we can talk about, like the origins of the human mind and, evolution. And also I wanted to ask you too, the significance of the number 9. Of why it's 9 waves and not 8 or 10.
Yeah. Well, it takes on a very prominent role here, because that is, if these waves are the most basic portion of the significant number. But there is also a lot of ancient mythology that gives a very significant role to this number 9. You find the Hopi talking about the 9 universes. You find the Vikings talking about 9 worlds emanating from the tree of life. You have our counting system is based on 9. We don't have a higher single digit than 9, and this is quite an ancient system. It goes back all the way to the 5,000 years ago in the Indus Valley, when they developed the Hindu figures. You find number 9 as holy in many ways. There were in the Jewish tradition, there is the Hanukkah with 9 candles. There were 9 doors to the holiest part of the temple in Jerusalem. In Islam, the Ramadan is the 9th month of the year, and as you can go on and on. And of course, here very significant is the fact that the Maya would build their most significant pyramids in 9 levels. And so these pyramids that they built were like metaphors for creation. They reflected the 9 levels of evolution. And it's a step, these are step pyramids because the 9 levels are distinct. And climbing a pyramid is like evolving with these different waves.
So can you briefly, before we go to break in a few minutes, can you tell us what the 9 waves are, or which each step of creation kind of represents?
Yeah, sure. The first wave is, they all develop some aspect of life. And the 4 lowest waves develop the biological aspects of our being. And then you might say the 5 highest waves develop more etheric or mental aspects of our beings. And the first one, then, it develops just the simple single cellular organisms that starts the evolution of biological life. The second wave develops animals, and the third wave develops erect bipedal animals, basically apes or monkeys. The fourth wave develops the brains of these apes and basically develop human beings. Then the fifth wave that started about 100,000 years ago develop the first symbolic people, the first people that developed symbols, art, and that goes back about 100,000 years. And then the sixth wave developed the civilized human being, and that goes back 5,100 years from now. And then the seventh wave, it's very much about the Industrial Revolution and the whole change that happened in the mid 18th century. The eighth wave started in 1999, and it comes with a digital revolution, smart technologies, and all that kind of stuff. And the ninth wave, finally, in 2011, is about bringing, you might say, a return to a state of unity, a unity consciousness. So that's, in very brief forms, these are the 9 waves, the kind of phenomena that they are all creating.
Woo! Wow. Yeah. Very nice. So we're gonna take a break, and when we wrap up the show, we're gonna talk more about why we should follow the 9th wave, what we can do to learn more about it, and our future.
Good.
And so stay with us, and we'll be back to wrap up the show here on Lucid Planet Radio.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Every day is another opportunity to bring magic into our world and create the reality we want to live. Intuitive Juliana Solovia and the Lady of Light New Age Boutique are here to help you on your journey. Whether you're looking for a reading, a workshop, or a class of the latest and unique metaphysical products or jewelry, the Lady of Light New Age Boutique has it all. Visit inspirednewage.com to schedule a session or class and feel the energy of the Lady of Light. Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving, even in the face of adversity. Say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
Welcome back to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly. I'm here with transdisciplinary scientist and philosopher Carl Johan Calleman, talking about the 9 waves of creation, evolution, and kind of how we weave together ancient symbology and modern science and understanding to gain a greater picture of who we are and what we're doing. How's that? So yeah. In a nutshell, anyway, when we left off, we were talking about the concept or the theory or the idea of the 9th wave of creation, which started back in March 2011, which I'm guessing has something to do with the end of the long form Mayan calendar, which I'm sure Carl will tell us. But it started 2011. It's about bringing about a state of unity consciousness. So why should we follow the 9th wave? What's so special about it? And how can we kind of learn to embrace it in this chaotic world?
Well, to begin with, there are only 9 waves of creation. And there seems many different ancient sources corroborate this. And the 9th wave then is the last of these waves. It's the highest frequency waves, and it's the wave that completes the process of creation. What that means is that if we want to be part of manifesting the destiny of humanity, what we should do then is try to resonate with the 9th wave and manifest the kind of phenomena that is typical of that wave, because that's the same thing as saying that you want to be part of manifesting what this life is all about, and which also, quite in accordance with many different ancient traditions, is about a return to unity. Many ancient traditions will talk about how there was a fall maybe 5,000 years ago or so, when people were disconnected from nature, from the divine, or from each other, and so forth. But then again, this whole climb, you might say, of 9 different waves is a way of returning to that, to the state that people were in. And that you might talk about as a state of unity consciousness. So that's sort of why we might want to do this. Sure. you might also say this is the path to the survival of the species, because, the survival of the species will have to depend on to what extent we are following along with what is the intended plan. So if you look at these different waves, and this is true for any of the different waves, and any sine wave you can divide into a peak phase and a valley phase. And in the case of these waves, the creation waves, it turns out that it's in those time periods that corresponds to peaks. Then they are manifesting the kind of phenomena that the wave is meant to manifest. Whereas the valleys are more periods of rest or even destruction in order to create the space for new creation to come out of the new peaks. So the peaks are the time periods where the novelty is manifested. And this is true also for the ninth wave. And what it means is that people that develop resonance with the ninth wave, and people can do that by following, I have on my Facebook page, and I have I have different articles on my blog that refer to I'm sorry, that refer to a calculator that.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, and this is important because it's the beginning of a synchronization of humanity, or at least of the part of humanity that want to be part of this process, which is not necessarily true for everyone, because if nothing else, it's a choice, and it's also what you find then is that the peaks and the valleys in this wave will affect you differently. It will be such that if you have any projects of unity in your life, you will find that those will have the wind on their back in the time periods that are peaks, whereas in the time periods that are valleys, there will be much more resistance. And it's also that because of this nature, this shifting phases, you will get more guidance from the source of these waves as to what you're supposed to do as an individual in the steps you're supposed to make in your life in the time periods that are peaks. So they're fundamentally different, and people are now starting to explore this, and they're finding what it means to them, and it's a real thing. We're constantly part of this wave, and we should be aware that this is not something, or I should put it in this way instead, that over time, this wave will become more and more important in the lives of people. And more phenomena will be synchronized with this particular wave. Most of us are not born fully into this wave. Only people that are 6 years or less of age are fully born into this wave. And so it will take some time until it comes predominant among the 9 waves of creation. But then it's also something we may use in our lives. And I would say that a very important message of this book is not only how to follow the ninth wave, but also to bring about the knowledge to people that we are part of a plan that is manifested through these 9 waves. And what that means is that life actually has a meaning and it has a purpose. And it's up to us whether we want to be part of this or not. But I think especially in these chaotic times that we happen to be in right now, that particular knowledge that there does exist such a direction for the evolution of all life, and including humanity, that is a critical thing, and people may turn that into practice by following the ninth wave.
I love this. And again, you can find out more by visiting calleman.com, Calleman. And I want to thank my guest today, Carl Johan Calleman. That is a very nice positive message to end it out with in these difficult times. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
It's been great to have you. And fun. Also, thank you to all of our listeners. You can join us every week, same time, Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And remember, Facebook, social media, The Lucid Planet, to listen to all of our replays of our shows. And next week, I will be joined by visionary artists Randall Roberts and Morgan Mandala, some very good friends of mine and some really rad people. And they're going to be talking with us about visionary art, creativity, and transformational culture. So stay with us and have a beautiful rest of your day, and all the good vibes of the ninth wave be upon you. Bye now.
You've been listening to the hit show Lucid Planet Radio with renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff. Tune in each week as we illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. This hit show will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake up to the greatest version of yourself. Learn how to navigate the global shift of consciousness as you explore the deeper knowledge, passion, and purpose within. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for upcoming show topics and to contact Dr. Kelly.